11,000 people participated in the vote and have chosen the listed initiatives to win the People's Choice Award. And today is the day we get to announce the winners for the first time, and we're very excited for that. We're very curious to find out where you're joining us from. So please do let us know in the chat. Don't hesitate to share this event on social media using the hashtag Transformative Cities. And in the chat, let us know where you're joining from and perhaps what you'd expect to see in the event today. And besides just the award ceremony, we also have some special guests, two special guests that have enormous knowledge about how cities and locally rooted political movements are an important node for transformative practices towards a more fair, sustainable, and dignified life. Before we jump into it, I'd like to give thanks to all the people that have participated in this event, because it is the joint work of the Transformative Cities partners. In alphabetical order, these are the European Network for Community-Led Initiatives on Climate Change and Sustainability, Friends of the Earth International, the Global Network for Continental Networks Committed to the Promotion of Social Solidarity Economy, Habitat International Coalition, the Global Platform for the Right to the City, and of course, the organization I work for, the Transnational Institute. We'll be joined today by our special guests, Raquel Rolnick and Saskia Sassen, and 4 winners that will share with us their insights in participating in the People's Choice Award, and together with some input from the coordination of Transformative Cities, represented by Melissa Kutusis. Now, to kick off our exciting program, I'd like to immediately introduce our first guest. She's an urban planner and professor at the Faculty of Urban Planning, Faculty of Architecture and Urban Studies at the University of Sao Paulo. She's also the former UN Special Rapporteur on the Right to Adequate Housing and the former Secretary of Urban Programs at the Ministry of Cities during President Lula da Silva's tenure in Brazil. I will immediately give the floor to our special guest, Raquel Rolnick.
Thank you, Sean. Hello, everybody. Olá todos. It's a great pleasure. And I would like to thank the organizers of this event, which I won't nominate in order to save time, because I just have 5 minutes. So please, I thank you for this opportunity and for this wonderful and very timely initiative. In a time, and yes, we are talking during a pandemic global crisis, which is nothing more than the expression of a deep crisis, a deeper and structural crisis that led to the pandemic. I'm pretty sure about that, in which the pandemic is the expression and not the reason, and is a crisis that has converted the way we organize among ourselves and the way we relate between us and the nature in a very toxic way, marked by toxicity, which is also leads to death. And I'm talking about a specific mode of production, a specific biopolitics in it, the intensity of circulation and consumption and the amount of profit is the leading force of organization, of production and relations. And this has a very extractivist nature per se. So the most important thing in it, the most important thing is the possibility of taking out of the land, of the territories, of the people's lives, the possibilities of profit. Yes, I'm talking about the commodification of essential things, essential for life. Or even more, on these times, I'm talking about financialization. I'm talking about the conversion of water, of energy, of housing, of food, all of them absolutely essential to life, in ways, in a playground, in order to provide new outlets for the financial capital to be bigger and bigger. I'm talking about a history of at least 250 years of implementing this model that had provoked all over the planet displacement, dispossession, privatization of the commons. But I'm also talking about a history of resistance. I'm talking more than a history of existence. I'm talking about a history of multiple forms of existence that has been residualized, stigmatized, and I'm referring specifically for all forms of tenure, include common ways of taking water, land, and housing that became absolutely stigmatized and even repressed under the main sole order that profit leads the world. So these ways of existence, this logic that have always existed, now they have a very different meaning as alternatives to organize and to create new forms of administration and living in our territories. I'm talking about ways of organizing people and resources which are based on the promotion and the protection of life. And those modes and those ways, they exist. Transformative Cities, this wonderful project, is bringing to us and has bringing to us during its existence snapshots of these other forms. They combine new and old. They are innovative, but they are also based in a legacy of existence and resistance. They are developed by the people themselves, but also they have been strengthened, incentivized, and also created ground by local governments. I'm sure that these examples that we are seeing here, these, as I call, snapshots of this ongoing struggle to protect life and to put life in the center of our planning efforts, in the center of our management efforts of territories and cities, can bring us and can inspire us to believe that the other world is possible. This belief is very important now during this huge crisis where living in a corpse of a model production that don't bring any answer to protect us, we come from the roots, from the grassroots, from the people with different answers that can federate, increase more and more in many, many territories that also can invent many, many others with these common ideas of commonality, of life, of self-management, of responding to the real needs and not to the needs of capital. Thank you very much.
Awesome. Thank you so much for your contribution, Raquel. And I can hear the virtual applause coming for your ideas, because indeed, this is what we aim for, to change the narrative on where we can have actual interventions to bring in collective and solidarity and to solve problems from the local situation to create global change. Thank you so much again, Raquel. And yeah, without much more ado, I feel the tension already rising in this virtual room. I feel the suspense rising because we're going to go directly into our award ceremony. And we're going to start with our first award, which is in the category of food. So these are our nominees. From Jackson, Mississippi, in the United States, we have Jackson Just Transition Plan, which is transforming Jackson into a city of equity, solidarity, and mutual aid. And from Montsou, France, the Maison d'éducation de l'alimentation durable, I hope I did not torture that name, supplies the community with organic food and educates future generations on how this can be done. And from Medellin, Colombia, Penca de Sabela Corporation improves the lives of rural farmers and connects them with urban communities. After 11,000 people cast their votes across different categories, the winner today of this award is from Medellin, Colombia, Penca de Sabela. I can't hear the applause. Louder, louder. Thank you, thank you. I hear the applause now. I'd like to welcome a speaker from the initiative, Javier Marquez Valderrama, who's the co-founder and director of the Penca de Sabela Ecological and Cultural Corporation. He's going to speak in Spanish, so if you if you need interpretation, please remember to click the button at the bottom. Thank you. Please unmute yourself, Javier.
Sí. Buenos días.
Well, hello. Good morning from Colombia. Good afternoon or good evening, depending on where you are. We're so happy for this award, for this acknowledgement. For 30 years, we've, we were born, we started working with peasants here in our city. This city had gone through a deep environmental and social crisis, but we had our mountains surrounding the city, and peasants are 72% of the population in all the Medellin geography. Indigenous peoples or rural peoples have the 72% of the land in their hands. And 30 years ago, we had a marginalized society with agrotoxics everywhere. The middleman stayed with everything in terms of production. The money didn't reach households. So we started gathering peasants and farmers in order to create farmer organizations for people to be able to vindicate their rights. In the struggle against agrotoxins that were poison for everyone's bodies, that were poisoning everyone's waters. And we started producing with the Campo Vivo cooperative and with youth and women in the rural population. We started this proposal, which is the social and solidarity circuit. And it makes people sell their own products. We're talking about organic products. This goes from the family land, and it gets to the fair trade shop. So now there is a certain proximity between the farmers that produce things and people that thinks of having a responsible consumption. It is called Coliflor, the cooperative. So we gather people that understand agroecology with people that are interested in fair consumption. So we are trying to defend farmers' rights, and we have created new networks of solidarity. We've always worked with rural women. We have the intercontinental network of rural women in place right now. We work with different processes from the youth. So I think this award somehow recognizes the tough work, the hard work, the way we have built up a political subject which is peasants, which is farmers, because for 30 years they've been marginalized, and we've tried to change that. We've tried to reorder our territory in order to protect more than 50,000 people. That is 12,000 households that have organic products right now in the market. So now we are protecting the rural territory. it is called Distrito Rural, that is rural district. And our struggle nowadays is to find more legitimacy for this Distrito Rural so that it is respected by the authorities, so that there are public investments in favor and recognizing this population, which is key if we want to preserve our waters, our mountains, our resources, people that practice agrodiversity, agroecology. So this population is really significant in a city that wants to be diverse and sustainable. We will not be sustainable if we don't recognize the roles of peasants here, of farmers. That's why the farmers here in Medellin, they deserve this award. That's why I'm happy, this Transformative Cities award. That's why we're so happy. And we dedicate this award to all the farmers in Medellin. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Javier. And indeed, Transformative Cities is not just about cities per se, but it's about location-based interventions. And in this particular instance, we see farmers and cities, farmers getting more integrated with the city that's close to them and making those close connections. We look forward to seeing more work from your work in Medellin, and hopefully to see the idea expand beyond just Colombia. Thank you so much for your intervention. And next, ladies and gentlemen, we move on to our next category, and this is the category of water. We have 3 finalists under the category of water, and these are from Paris, France. We've got Eau de Paris, cleaner, cheaper water to the city of Paris. From Petorca in Chile, we've got Agua para Todos, which tackles water privatization and the impact of climate change. And from Terrassa, Spain, Observatorio del Agua de Terrassa, which ensures the democratic governance of water. Drum roll, can I hear the suspense in the room? The winner for this particular award is from Petorca, Chile, Agua para Todos. I'd like to invite the speaker from Chile, Alvaro Escobar, who's the president of the Union de Agua Potable Rural, APR, and he will intervene also in Spanish.
Hola, un gran saludo desde un pequeño pueblo llamado Hierro
Hi,
Viejo.
greetings from a small town called Petorca. Today, a new tradition is born. We are the Unión of Drinking Water in Petorca. Thank you to everyone who voted for us to win this award. This is a recognition for all the leaders who every day defend the human right to water throughout the world, even in a pandemic. I stand together with great women from my territory, Carolina, Camila, Zoila, and Maria Catalina. Without them, this wouldn't have been possible. They bring the love of the community, solidarity, living well, and respect to land, despite them suffering firsthand the effects of conflict due to the exploitation of our water resources. We'd like to thank and stand in solidarity with fellow Chileans and in Mapuche communities who have been victim to violence, to achieve a new constitution, a new water law, and a new Chile. Water for everyone, regardless of where you find yourself in the world. Until water is available for everyone and is a human right that is guaranteed. Thank you and warm greetings from Petorca. Thank you to everyone in Transformative Cities. Thank you to everyone who's listening to us. Warm hugs. Thank you very much. Bye.
Thank you so much, Alvaro, and thank you so much for the beautiful faces that stand behind you in solidarity and in love and in strength. We very much appreciate your presence. And thank you so much for your input. At Transformative Cities, we do indeed believe that basic human rights are at the forefront. People should have access to water, to food, to housing, to energy, and hopefully also to other social amenities that that we've looked at in our research. Thank you very much, Alvaro. Thank you for the people that have joined you. And then, speaking of the different rights, the different aspects that we think have to be taken care of in order for each and every human being on the planet to have the rights that are due to them, we would like to perhaps reconsider or perhaps expand the Transformative Cities People's Choice Award. And that means coming up with perhaps alternative categories that we think we should look at, that we think we can include in addition to the current categories that the 11,000 people that have participated have voted on. So at this particular moment, before we have our next speaker and proceed with our award, I would like for you to just have a look at the poll that is appearing on your screen right now. It's a question we have asked ourselves and which we would like to present to you, the people that follow Transformative Cities. Which other categories would you like to see in next year's Transformative Cities Awards? We currently have the category of food, we have the category of water, we have the category of housing, and indeed, of course, the last category which we have, which is the category of energy. Outside of those, where have you seen transformative practices happening? Where have you seen people making interventions at the local level that you think they deserve a specific amount of attention? Which ideas have you seen happening that you think you would like to see given more attention as we proceed and build the Transformative Cities network and build the number of initiatives that can participate in the Transformative Cities Award? So the poll will be up for a minute or so. Please do make a vote. Thank you very much. Your input is very much treasured and valued, and we hope to incorporate it into the 2021 edition of the Transformative Cities People's Choice Award. And now to proceed with our award ceremony, our third category is the category of housing. These are our finalists. From Grenoble in France, the Citizens Initiative referendum against forced demolitions of social housing. From Clough Jordan in Ireland, the Clough Jordan Eco Village, which models the transition to a low carbon society. And from Porto Alegre in Brazil, Casanat is a micro-utopia serving as a space for exchange, learning, and resistance. Those are our three nominees in the category of housing. And we would now like to find out who the winner is. Drum roll, virtual drum roll. And the winner is Casanat from Porto Alegre, Brazil. Applause, applause, please. I would like to welcome the speaker from Casanat in Porto Alegre, Brazil, and her name is Lucia Ortiz, and she will also intervene in Spanish.
Muy buenos días para las Américas.
Good morning for the Americas. Good afternoon for the continent. It's a pleasure being here in representation of Friends of the Earth Brazil and telling you about the house we built up, about our experience. Well, in the decade of 2000, our goal was to have a permanent place, a permanent headquarters for Friends of the Earth in Porto Alegre, in Brazil. So once we got the permission to use an abandoned house in 2004, we started working there and we started presenting our demands to our state and to the town hall. We wanted to have popular technologies, people technologies that could be sustainable in favor of the city. We'd like for our experiences in Casanat to be part of a social process in order to build people's power, in order to have cross-industry support to different proposals for public policies, such as energy efficiency, urban agriculture, reusing of local places, and also to have support for rural populations. In that way, our actions will be positive for the whole of the population, both in the urban and rural population. We had many hands on board, many encounters, learnings, joint work, trying to find a space of discussion in this house, in this abandoned house that we refurbished. We are a space in permanent transformation. We are strengthening ourselves as a political subject through practice, through permanent and ongoing training. We have in the center of our actions women and children. We have indigenous peoples, we have agroecologists, we have farmers, we have small peasants, which are very poor in this region. And we have an agroecological fair that we call Fruits of Resistance. And this has given a voice to these groups of population. So now all of us are ready to face the pandemic, and we are fighting for social justice, all of us together. But at the end of 2019, then we had Bolsonaro, and we have now a Secretary of Disestabilization and Disinvestment in the Ministry of Economy in Brazil, and they wanted to expel us from our house in Porto Alegre. So this has been taken to court, but we won in the first court. Let's see how it goes in the Court of Appeals. But in any case, we are mobilizing. We have many networks and many allied movements paying attention to what's happening. And we have an organization that has set the path, and we are training our youth, and we have new militants. We have more visibility now to reaffirm that our struggle for environmental, economic, social justice, and also gender justice is perfect, and that anti-fascism and anti-racism should prevail, and we should have internationalist solidarity. We are against the Bolsonaro government. They're trying to expel us from our house. Our house is a very small space, but we are firm in our positions, defending democracy against the neoliberalism. So I'd like to end with some words in Portuguese. There is no capital. There is no capital that could stop us. Get out, Bolsonaro, Casanat resists. Thank you for everything.
Congratulations, Lucia, and thank you for those words. Thank you for working on this micro utopia that shows us that we can build a macro utopia. We can build a bigger, safer world that caters to everybody's needs. And just having an example of this working does indeed give hope that we can build this on a much larger scale. And indeed now, we are reaching this was the penultimate award, and we move on now to our final award, in this year's Transformative Cities People's Choice Award. And the category is energy. These are the 3 finalists under the category of energy. And I would like to point out here that this was our closest vote. It was really the most tightly contested, and we didn't know up until the final minute who was going to win. So from Gaza in Palestine, Pengon empowers Palestinian women as sustainable energy leaders. And then from Valladolid in Spain, Energetica Cooperative challenges energy poverty by supplying clean energy. And from Burgas in Bulgaria, the municipality of Burgas pioneers energy efficient housing in Bulgaria. And drum roll, who is our winner in the category of energy? I call upon Burgas, Bulgaria. Virtual applause. Yes, I'd now like to welcome our speaker from Burgas, Mrs. Vesna Baltina, who is the Deputy Mayor of Burgas, and she will give her remarks in English.
Dear ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of Mr. Dimitar Nikolov, Mayor of Burgas Municipality, I would like to thank all those who supported us and voted for us. I'm glad that the efforts and initiatives of the citizens of Burgas and the local administration and the local government are appreciated. For more than 10 years, energy efficiency has been among main priorities in the policies of the city of Burgas. Our city is among the leaders in Bulgaria in the number of buildings, public and private, with implemented energy efficiency measures. We are actively working to replace street lighting with energy efficient introductions of modern heating and cooling systems in buildings, implementations of smart energy management systems, and replacement of the car fleet with electric vehicles. We are exploring opportunities to support the energy vulnerable part of the population by creating energy cooperatives and producing energy from renewable energy sources. I believe that only through good interaction between all stakeholders at local level, we can keep and accelerate the process of transforming our cities into an even more pleasant place to live, work, and rest. I want to congratulate all the participants in the initiative for the great things they are doing for their communities and for the great examples they are setting. I believe that the single efforts of each of us can contribute to the great change we're all striving for. A fair society based on equality, support, and transparency in public decision-making process. Last but not least, I would like to thank the organizer of the Transformative Cities initiative. Thank you sincerely for searching and promoting the good examples from all over the world. I wish you all a very nice celebration of the upcoming holidays and much health and happiness to you and your families. Thank you all.
Thank you so much, Vesna, and congratulations to the city of Burgas for showing us how a better energy policy is possible, how to bring citizens, the community, and the mayor and the government, the local government together to solve problems of energy poverty, to solve problems of lack of sustainability in the way city councils do their work. This has been a broad-ranging exercise in seeing the different ways in which we can all make a change at a local level. And I'd like to bring in Raquel again, from your work as the UN Rapporteur on urban spaces, urban planning, from your professional work. What have you found inspiring or particularly different in today's list of Transformative Cities winners?
Thank you. Thank you for the possibility and opportunity to listen to the winners. I wish I could listen to the others also, the finalists together, because there was a lot of very interesting, very important initiatives. So what I can comment on those initiatives, which I think are very meaningful. First of all, yes, for those who are thinking, except for a new policy of water management in the city of Paris, we can see that almost all the other initiatives are small. But please, let us discuss the significance of small. When we talk that the initiatives are small, are rooted in communities and with people, or even if it's a city like Burgos and it's a policy, a citywide policy, as I could understand, I think we should not be delusioned by the fact that those experiences don't bring a potential and a possibility of change in a broader scale. Not only because they prove that is possible, because one thing is the struggle of ideas and another thing is the struggle of realization. And we must take into account that most of the examples that we have seen here are self-financed initiatives, which means that people that don't have resources, don't have financial resources, was always aside from the mainstream decision, with some exceptions of course, when city administration was putting resources on that, they were able to promote change. But also, they show us how important is when a city administration recognizes that some specific ways of organizing space and territories are important, and instead of implementing, and this is, in my view, the urban planning lesson of all that, is that to take away a urban planning that is based in one single model, that is based only in the dialogue between the private sector and business oriented, and implement that as the one and only model for all the city, and start to dialogue with different ways of doing things, to listen to the history and the legacy of doing things, and retaking that and creating, which is also very important, and we can see that in the experiences that we see, a very heterogeneous and diverse ways of dealing with water and food and energy, getting rid of the idea of the one and only model. This is the first thing. The second thing, which I also, and from the point of view of the right to adequate housing, which was my mandate during several years related to UN, we can see that behind the scenes, behind the experience, we have one essential issue here, which is what defines access to land. Access to land and to do what? This is behind housing initiatives. This is behind the struggle against demolition that we have seen, the demolition of social housing that we have seen in Grenoble. But this is also behind the initiative in Colombia in order to recreate, reimagine the way to relate with food production. This is also behind all the discussions about water. So I think that the central theme here is the theme of tenure arrangements, and the possibility of different tenure arrangements, and to get rid with the hegemony of private corporate property as the one and only model to define access to land, access to housing, and access to energy. And then the third, which I think that maybe is the most important thing, and we could see that when Álvaro was talking together with the women together, and in some pictures of the winners, which is the idea that all those experiences are based on collective action rather than individual action. Collective action based on solidarity and not on competition. So I think that the idea of collective action and the idea that our common goods can be seen, and I'm referring to water, I'm referring to energy, as collective common, collective property of all of us, and not private property of the government. I think it's very important also. And here we see in the different examples of how collective ownership can lead us. Thank you very much for this opportunity to intervene again.
Much appreciated, and thank you so much to you, Raquel, again. You mentioned that you wish you could have seen all the other initiatives also making a presentation and telling what they're all about. And indeed, we really wish we could have had a whole exercise where we have all the initiatives that participated, not only the ones that made it into the shortlist, but also all the ones that were considered for the Transformative Cities Award, to have a chance to say what they would like to say and to share their ideas. This wasn't possible and perhaps not necessarily desirable, but we do have a way of showing all the different ideas that are bubbling under the surface, many that are bubbling above the surface, many that are happening as we speak, and many that are now expanding and going beyond the confines of where they actually began. And we have tried to put those together. And in this moment, then, I would like to introduce what we at TNI call at the Transformative Cities call the Atlas of Utopias. Melissa will explain a little more what that is about, but first, a quick look. Thank you so much. The Atlas of Utopias. I'd like to call upon Transformative Cities coordinator, Melissa Koutouzis. She works with the Right to Housing and the Right to the City. She's an activist and a campaigner, has worked with the Transnational Institute and on Transformative Cities project since 2017, and also works for Fearless Cities. Melissa, tell us more about this atlas.
Hi, Sean. Thank you so much. Firstly, just want to quickly thank all the amazing finalists that are present also in the chat today. I'm really happy to see that everyone is here. And also thank you so much, Raquel, for your insights and all the speeches from all the winners. For me personally, it's been an absolute honor to work with all of you for the last year. I am quickly filling in for Sol, my partner in crime in this Transformative Cities initiative. His wife just got a baby yesterday morning, so more life starting there. And so today I would just very quickly want to tell you a bit more about the Atlas, because I think that the idea about transformative cities, why we have done this is, and what came out has already been made clear by the stories of all the amazing people present today. So what we have done now is basically combine all the initiatives from also last year's. So from 2017, 2018, 19, sorry, 18, 19, and 20. Where we put them all together, because the idea is that you cannot really, we need to be able to see the change that is happening in order to support it even more and to make it grow. So this is why the concept of the Atlas, a mapping of all these beautiful initiatives that can inspire more people to do the same and to also exchange strategies in how to organize around the right to food, to energy, to housing, etc. So this year it's a bit different than other years, because in other years we also mapped the finalists in this atlas, and this year we made like a kind of a top 30 with all the winners from last year's, but the finalists can still be seen in different ways on the website. And of course, also, I just wanted to mention quickly that this year, more than 11,000 people voted for this initiative, which is quite a lot. So we are very pleased for this global participation of all these people that are now more aware of all these beautiful initiatives around the world. And so I will put them in the chat, the link. So please do look at it and check it out. And next year, of course, we will organize a new one, and we will take a very good look at your answers from the poll, in also trying to figure out what will be the next theme that we can add besides water, food, etc. So yeah, thank you again.
Thank you so much, Melissa. So everyone, please do go ahead and check out the Atlas of Utopias. It's available online. The link should be in the chat. And you can find it also on our website, tni.org, and on the Transformative Cities website. This brings us to the end of our event. I have to remark today just how different this is from the Transformative Cities finale of last year. The world that we were in last year is very different, and it only makes it more pressing that we find solutions that are working at the local level and that can bridge us and bring us together across the world, because there's no denying that the world is in a crisis. There's no denying that we need to do things different. And the initiatives such as the ones that we've seen today, the interventions happening in Burgos, what's happening in Petroca, what's happening in Medellin, what's happening in Porto Alegre. These are the tips of the spear that will pierce our way to a new future. And only by finding each other, only by sharing ideas and bringing these things to a broader audience and growing them, can we actually achieve this broader widespread change. So thank you so much to all our guests for your interventions. Thank you to the whole TNI team for their great organizational support, all the Transformative Cities partners, our translators who've made it possible for us to have this across different time zones, across different linguistic and cultural zones as well. We will, of course, share the results of the poll. We will see which categories we're going to include for next year, and we'll see if we can indeed make that happen. Please stay tuned. So initial pointer is that people would like us to have an event, an award on migrants and refugees. And I totally agree, because the world is made of people that are moving, and we do indeed need to put more focus on that. To round off, I would like to say, please stay tuned to the Transformative Cities newsletter and make sure to follow us on our social media channels. The Transnational Institute TNI also has a host of programs and events that you can join virtually now, of course. Please, of course, we've got upcoming webinars. There's another one on Wednesday, the 9th of December, on how to move together towards an anti-racist horizon. Please sign up, register, join us again for another different initiative in which we're trying to bring different voices together to make the world a better place. And do indeed, of course, please check out from the Transnational Institute, the State of Power podcast, which I host myself, and in which I have conversations. We have conversations with people from across the world who are bringing different ideas, progressive ideas that are able to begin this process of changing the world. Thank you once again to everyone who has participated. It is a pleasure from myself, from my team, from all the people at the Transnational Institute, from Transformative Cities Collective, from everyone who has participated to bring this to you. We look forward to the award in 2021, where it is going to be bigger and better and even more inspirational. And hopefully during that one, I can hear people's applause in real life, or meet and see people's faces, and we can once again join in solidarity and work together to transform the world we live in. Thank you very much, and see you next time. As a postscript, I would like to offer our very strong apologies that our second speaker, Saskia Sasson, could not join us. We had hoped that we would have a second intervention from her, but as we all know, things happen, and it was impossible for her to join us on today's event. But do indeed see her intervention in last year's Transformative Cities finale, where she gave her talk on global cities, and in particular, the role of financialization and its impact on cities. So we couldn't have her today, but please do see last year's edition, which is available on YouTube and is available on our website. Thank you very much. And again, it's been a pleasure.